Hi people, I'm a YouTuber, a Minecraft YouTuber. Today, together, we shall enjoy a metaphorical feast in the form of a playthrough of Minecraft, tastefully injected with an amalgamation of some of my favorite mods. If you wish for me to make a technical video going through the mods and resource packs I've used in this playthrough, please demand it by abusing me in the comment section below. I wish to be used and abused like a filthy little toy. Only then shall I oblige, with the widest grin and most blissful expression coloring my otherwise blank, 1,000-yard stare face. My journey started out like any other, in the main menu screen. Having settled on a most appropriate title for my forever world, I spawned into a beautiful, fresh new world, yet untainted by my grubby little fingers. I think it goes without saying this piece didn't last longer than a couple of minutes. What with the way I mercilessly butchered this prospective family with my slab of meat for an arm. Anybody who knows anything about mine knows that the first thing to cross off the bucket list craft is to cosplay as an average American father and eloquently persuade your oak of a wife to drop crafting materials by playfully punching her until she learns. Don't worry, it's not your fault. They never learn. Having alchemized my very first crafting table with the power of these 4 empty squares in my HUD, HUD, that's an acronym for Heads Up Display, I went on to manufacture a wooden pickaxe which seemed to yearn for hematology, judging by its lust for a certain incarnadine fluid, if you sniff my poetry. Following the breadcrumbs left behind by the forest's apex predator, I came across a fortunate find in the shape of wild onions. This would most certainly come in handy to repel any and all female organisms by infusing my breath with the allyl-methyl sulfite compound found in this bulb vegetable. To no one's surprise, the forest could no longer contain my antics, so the winds of fate pushed me out onto a bucolic prairie, teeming with wildlife. It was a humbling, now divine experience akin to savoring Mother Nature's luxuriant naturecy itself. So good. Following this, rather exhilarating development, I laid my eyes upon... what do we have here? Looks like it's time to go greet some villagers, huh? After looting and pillaging the homes of these innocent souls like Pote, Reinald, Tyrese, John, Ball, and Idiot, very aptly named. Look at him. There's not a single thought behind those sparkly green eyes. I continued my adventure with my head held high, feeling like a million bugs. That's right, bugs. Not bugs. Did you know there's bugs crawling and laying eggs under your skin right now? Can you feel them? Hurry, you have to rip them out before it's too late. Filling my little tummy with... I realized I had the foresight to collect crafting materials for a bed before the sun set, which saved me the trouble of having to face the respawn menu at the hands of... Oh. Hi. You. Maybe the respawn menu isn't so bad. Emerging from the shroud of sleep, I barely had enough time to compose myself before being attacked by some burning freak of nature, coveting my inviolate vessel. But unbeknownst to him, this was far from my first rodeo. On God, nothing beats waking up to a beautiful sunrise and immediately handling some morning wood. Resume. So I got to chopping the seemingly endless tree and headed onwards towards greatness. Gathering some choice resources on the way, I happened upon this gaping cavern. I figured it was time to settle in and mark the conception of my abode. Home sweet hole in the ground. You can't even begin to fathom the extent of my love for a damp and dark hole to spend the night in. As I was performing the repetitive motion of oscillating my pickaxe with the goal of mining down to the diamond level, I was greeted by a cave containing a couple of pent-up e-girls who exploded after merely a few strokes of my phallic object. What can I say? I have a solid arsenal. After performing a few of these trips up and down because my pickaxe kept breaking, I discovered a relic of the long-lost past. I discovered an ancient city. Oh no. Why is this decrepit ass shit out of my base, gang? What the fuck? Stepping foot into this new world led me to finding my first diamonds, so I guess it wasn't all bad. Yes! yes. After mining a few more valuable ore veins, my pickaxe broke yet again and forced me to go back up to base. This was fine since it allowed me to craft my very first diamond pickaxe and link a newly crafted compass to the lodestone at my base. This way I didn't have to worry about getting lost and losing my one-of-a-kind, wonderful nest. After a few of these mining round trips, I felt like exploring a bit of the ancient city, but having destroyed a few skulk sensors and shriekers, I realized it would take forever and promptly gave up that endeavor. Besides, the idea of being on the receiving end of backshots by the warden didn't seem like a particularly enticing proposition. Some busty huzz woke up to Steve and get cracked, and you think that of me? No, I am the one who cracks. I admit, I play Minecraft like it's one of those Yogscast videos from 2012, so if you were hoping for a Minecraft video essay about intellectually vapid topics, I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. If you seriously need a grown-ass man who plays Minecraft for a living to tell you that hanging out with toxic people is a bad idea, you're in desperate need of some thorough introspection. Oh, and if you're sitting there thinking I just described you, do me the honor of dropping your full legal name and address in the comments. I need them for the restraining order I'm going to file against you because frankly, that level of social ineptitude is genuinely terrifying. Please stay away from me, you freak! All that just to say that my gameplay isn't exactly riveting content. It's very predictable. But hopefully this voiceover will provide you with enough mental sustenance to keep you here forever. After all, you are nothing but a pawn, merely a cog in the machine meant to feed me with enough watch time to fuel my bottomless greed for wealth and glory. Oh, sorry. Freudian slip. Forget I said any of that. Having done the Ice Bucket Challenge and raided a mob spawner, I found myself back in the overworld, embraced by a beautiful day. Now that I had enough resources, I finally got to carving out a space for my newly acquired enchanting table. Seeing as I only had enough paper to craft a grand total of 3 bookshelves, I'd have to look for more sugar canes to set up a farm nearby. But before any of that, I crafted a jukebox to listen to a music disc I found on the mob spawner earlier. I hadn't crafted a jukebox in roughly a decade prior, so as you can imagine, my anticipation was at an all-time high. Luckily, Lena Rain didn't disappoint. If you give me a chance, Miss Rain, I promise I won't disappoint you either.
Know what I'm saying?
To commence my foray into agriculture, I cleared a modest expanse of backyard and commemorated this event by injecting the fertile earth with my seed. My wheat seed. Of course, I also went out of my way to manufacture a simple composting system so I wouldn't have to worry about the excess seeds after a bountiful harvest. Post-rejuvenation, I gathered the resolve to exit my humble abode and set out on my quest for the aforementioned saccharine stalks. With a degree of foresight that borders on the clairvoyant, I brought with me an iron ingot intended for the fabrication of a saddle during my excursion. Regrettably, my domestic leather reserves were insufficient for such a luxury, so I figured I'd procure the textiles from the local bovine population. A task I performed with effortless grace. Loaded with a state-of-the-art saddle, I kept walking until I eventually sighted a steed. A dark steed, to reflect the darkness festering in the depths of my... I didn't even get to ride this 5-legged stallion for longer than a minute before finding a spotted mare I deemed far more worthy of my companionship. This betrayal seemed to have been ordained by the heavens, for I found the long-coveted sugar canes mere seconds later. No doubt a harbinger of shifting tides, signaling an era of prosperity and divine endorsement upon my endeavors. As the sky grew dark, my little outing brought me to a new village. I'm sure you've guessed by now that I'm no paragon of virtue. I am but a man trying to survive in this godforsaken landscape, and as such, I harbor neither shame nor regret in my actions of plundering this settlement. Perhaps there exists a world where I acted with compassion, where I settled among these peasants and nurtured their ascent towards civilization. Alas, we reside in a timeline where avarice and malice have taken root. A world predicated on raw, primal strength, where the victor claims the spoils.
And I'm sure as hell going to claim that glazed donut of yours and stuff it with my custard cannon. If you don't like this video, so better get to it. You've got 3, 2, 1.
You can't blame me. This village was full of crazy people. I mean, who names their child Joshua Bell? And look at this guy. He was virtue signaling so hard, he changed his name to Humble. In fact, I think the only sane person in this entire place was Rick. The others seem to have lost their minds a long time ago. All blue ball? No, this can't be. This was starting to seem more like a mental asylum than an actual village, a fact that prompted me to get the away from here as soon as possible. The gaping hole I had made my home, that rhyme tickled my ball, was certainly a sight for sore eyes after that depraved Resident Evil village off village. Being the craftaholic that I am, I stashed some items and immediately got to pumping out 4 new bookshelves the moment I set foot in my musty residence. I realize this may come off as a bit abrupt, but...